Namaste. In our new book, Who is Raising Your Children, we will help the reader make informed decisions and give them the ability to answer very important questions that concern the education of their children and the nation. For example, should woke ideas in education be considered like a religious dogma in the guise of social justice? Should government schools be using taxpayer money to promote these new ideas? The UN propaganda on sustainability has permeated every facet of society. If one disagrees with sustainability or gender fluidity, does it imply that one is a bigot or a racist? Is it more appropriate to teach respect for everyone without making it political or divisive? Should non-Western democracies be pressured by the West to conform to Western standards, Western indices, and mandates on education in order to be considered legitimate or face the threats of sanctions? The propagandists of woke education argue that past systemic bias is being perpetuated by parents by passing on their values to their children. Hence, parents should be sidelined. Should parents control the way their children are raised, or should the education system control them? Do parents know more about what their children need and what they must do, or do the activists who work for NGOs know better? Education on sexuality is becoming secretive in classrooms as well as through youth and peers and online applications. Should youth peers be educating other children on sexual matters? And should parents know about their child's sexual health, on HIV, abortions, gender transitions, gender dysphoria, etc.? Is biological science correct that DNA determines everyone as either male or female, or are these merely socially constructed binary categories? Should the legitimate rights of LGBTQ drive education for all children, including teaching very young children to experiment with gender fluidity and even have access to so-called treatment to transition their gender? Should the government sponsor sex change surgeries and cosmetic enhancements with your taxpayer money? Is it a good idea to teach young children promiscuity and sexual pleasure as a sexual right under the ostensible goal of reducing risky sexual behavior? Should we as a society approach abortion with a casual and nonchalant attitude? Is it okay for an adult to have sex with a minor if the minor initiates and consents to such sexual activity? Should educators, including NGOs, collect vast amounts of private data on children to rewire them into what are considered favorable dispositions? Should we use neuroscience and psychology to nudge children's behaviors to comply with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals? Should the government use curriculum developed by NGOs on sex education and so-called social emotional learning? This may be the direction that education is going in. You as a parent, an educator, or a stakeholder must have a say in these matters.